All right, let's go back into the courtroom where, I mean, let's face it, this whole trial, you're looking over at this Nick Kassotis and thinking, wow, he's out there. Well, right now, there's a guy on the stand. He's an attorney in San Diego. He used to be a former colleague of him, a JAG attorney in the Navy with Kassotis, and they were buddies. And this guy seems as normal as can be, and he was good friends with Nick Kassotis. He's just setting it up. Let's see what else he has to say.
At some point, did you lose contact with him?
Yes. So the last time I saw Nicholas and Mindi was in Norfolk sometime between 2016 and 2018. I left Norfolk in 2018 for San Diego, and I had stayed in touch. My wife and I had stayed in touch with both of them, and my first indication that that we had lost contact was when a Christmas card was returned that the address was invalid.
That would have been on or about what year?
Probably 2018, 2019 timeframe. It was after I was in San Diego.
At some point after that, did he reconnect?
Yeah, it was sometime later, but I hadn't heard from him in years, and then around July of 2022. He reached out to me with a new email address. When the Christmas card had bounced back, I emailed him and I tried to call him, but the email address was no longer valid and the phone number was disconnected. So July 2022 was that was the first time I had heard from him, and it was from a new email. We exchanged some messages, found a time to set up a call. He provided me with a new phone number, and we had a call to catch up that month.
And during that conversation, was there any discussion by him about a name change?
Yes. He had, so one of the topics was why I hadn't heard from him in so long. And he explained that he and Mindi were changing their names, were getting new social security numbers, were getting new passports and driver's license. He explained the reason behind that was that he had learned that the family he thought that he was the biological child of, he wasn't. He explained that who he thought were his biological parents and brother had been filing false complaints to the two bars that he belonged to, Virginia and Massachusetts. He was getting alerts on his credit history that people were opening accounts in his name, and learned later that who he thought was his family was behind that. So to avoid all of that, he and Mindi had cut off all communication and started changing their identity.
Did he describe Mindi's condition?
He did. In July, in that July 2022 conversation, he said that Mindi was pregnant and that they knew that the gender was a girl. And I was very excited for him. That was another big topic of that phone call. It was, I was happy for him. I thought that was great.
Was there any conversation about him writing short stories?
Yes. He also, as we were catching up, he told me how he had started creative writing as a hobby, and that had turned into a pretty significant thing that he did. He wrote a number of short stories that he had published on the website Reddit, and one of them in particular had kind of garnered the interest of someone in Hollywood, and he might get that story optioned as a screenplay.
When was the next time you spoke with him?
So I didn't hear from him again until March of the next year, so 2023.
And tell the jury how that conversation went.
So he sent a connection request on LinkedIn, and I thought that was good news because I know that he had tried to keep a very low profile, and so I accepted it as soon as I saw it. I messaged him. He asked if I had time to catch up. We found a time on our schedules where we could do another phone call. And so sometime in early March, we connected again on the phone.
And what did he tell you during that phone conversation?
Early in the call, I asked him how Mindi was doing, because I figured the baby must have been born at this point, and he mentioned that she had passed away. He explained that she had complications with the pregnancy, that she'd had high blood pressure, and there had been some issues with her heart, that she had been hospitalized at least once, but that sometime before she could give birth, she passed away.
At any time, did you ever discuss with him the nature of his employment?
Yes. In that first call in July, natural question was, what have you been up to since you left the Navy? And he said he was involved in a startup that had something to do with cybersecurity, that they had some product or service that had access to the dark web to identify cybersecurity threats, and that he was filling like a general counsel role, sort of advising them on legal issues.
How did you learn about Mindi's death?
Well, the phone call where he said she died of natural causes was sort of the first time I heard that she died, but some weeks later, a mutual friend of ours forwarded me a news article about her disappearance, that her remains had been found, and that Nick was the primary suspect.
And based upon receiving that information, what did you do?
Well, so I felt that what he had told me in an earlier conversation was important information that the authorities should know. So I contacted the tip line that was in the news article. I spoke with an agent from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and recounted the phone conversations I'd had with Nick, tried to be as accurate as possible and as factual as possible.
Thank you. That's all the questions now.
Just want to say